They got everything back there, including her coming out of courthouse. So whatever confusion there was, you know, apparently Ronnie said he was in his office, he didn't move the wall. So that's where that came from.
You went to the office?
Oh, yeah. I figured they were.
Oh, they were close?
I mean, they said 4:30. That's why I was figuring that they were going to.
They were talking with the staff upstairs.
Oh.
So, you want me to interrupt the device right now? Okay, you got it? I'm sorry, the device, what the sound is from the pressers?
For what?
From the chip? Yeah.
We already gave them our sound from that.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was literally a exact minute. And that's why.
Let's try. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Yorkie. I'm the Monroe County Prosecutor. I want to thank everybody for coming in today. I have a few points that I want to make, a couple of brief statement, and then I'll open it up to questions for the attorneys and any of the law enforcement officials that are here today. First of all, I want to start out by saying that we are obviously satisfied with today's verdict. We're very pleased with today's verdict. Well, we appreciate everything that the jury did here today. We think that they did a phenomenal job in evaluating all of the evidence, and we're obviously happy with the way it's turned out. That said, you know, there's never any winners in a case like this. There's nothing that we're going to be able to do to bring back Zane and Alana, or to be able to heal the physical and mental damage done to the people that were present at that birthday party last year in April. That said, I also want to thank all of the first responders, though, because their quick action prevented this tragedy from being worse than it already was. And I also want to thank the amazing work that Sheriff Goodenough's team has done in this case. I want to thank them for their professionalism, the excellent work that they did in providing us with the evidence that we needed to effectively prosecute this case. Specifically, I want to thank Detective Modelinsky and Sergeant Hooper, who were instrumental. Sergeant Hooper, unfortunately, isn't here today. But Joe Hammond is here. He's our undersheriff. He's helped to coordinate all of this, all of the work that the Sheriff's Department has done, and we just would not have been able to do it without them. I also really want to send a shout out to the State Police Crime Lab for their professionalism and assistance, and specifically Tabitha Faust. She testified today and yesterday and did an absolutely phenomenal job, and I thought it was very important to point that out. Finally, my team, led by Senior Trial Attorney Ken Lorraine, my hat's off to the hard work that was put in by Mr. Lorraine, along with Assistant Prosecutor Chris Marriott and Alexis Hatch. Their job is to distill all the evidence and then break it down and present it in a clear and concise and a cogent manner for the jury to be able to understand the theory of the case. And they just did an unbelievable job of doing that. I could not be more proud of the job that they've done. But they could not do it alone. I have a couple other special shout outs to some of the people that work in our office. Missy Nichols was instrumental in putting a lot of the media together that we showed at the trial. Brooke Bazinski did an amazing job of coordinating the over 30 witnesses that were called in this case and making sure that they were ready to go at the appropriate time in order to keep this case moving along. And that's, that's really important for the jury. And finally, also want to thank our victims' rights coordinator, Allie Horkey. She and her staff do an amazing job in a case like this that is as difficult emotionally to have to deal with on behalf of these victims. She does an amazing job with them, and I really we couldn't have done any of this without the hard work that they've put into this, along with the rest of the staff in our office. They've been on the ball for months while we've been working on this case, and we couldn't have done it without any of them. So that's all I have. I want to thank you guys for coming in, and I'll open it up to questions.
It sounds pretty solid that there's gonna be an appeal. Are you ready for that?
We're always ready for an appeal. We've been talking about it from the very beginning. When we prepare for a case like this, we're thinking about appeals. We're thinking about appellate issues. And so we consider that stuff as we develop a case and get ready to present it.
Were you able to talk to the jurors at all to see what the main points were for them?
We didn't. I know that Judge White did, and we'll probably. I would love to talk to the jurors about this, but we have not spoken to them. No. Anybody else?
Surprised by the speed of the verdict?
That's a loaded question. Am I surprised? No. We put so much work into this case, and honestly, these three attorneys behind me did such an amazing job of putting it together and making it so that this jury could understand exactly what our theory of the case was and how all of the facts that were presented fit into that theory, that I'm not really surprised that they were only out for a short period of time.
Can you talk about the strategy of holding the in-home video as well as the receipt from the store, getting the bottles of wine, why holding that to rebuttal instead of bringing it out?
Well, we talked a lot about that. In fact, I'm going to defer here to our lead attorney on that because he was the guy that really saved the day on that one. He was the one that made the case, and I said, okay, go for it. So, Ken, if you want to touch on that.
It's no different than what I told the jury in closing. It wasn't strategic at all. I've done many, many drunk driving trials over the course of my career. I've never proven a single one of them by trying to track down every drink that the defendant had before they drove. I've always proved it with a blood result. That was what I wanted to do here. Mr. Yorkie agreed with me. Mr. Marriott and Miss Hatch agreed. So that's what we did. But when he opened the door to trying to say it was just one glass of wine in a chemical process that caused her to have a 0.18 BAC, then I felt it was appropriate to give to the jury the other evidence that she had given us, essentially, mostly from her surveillance camera, that she had consumed more than just one glass of wine.
Clovis said as part of his appeal, part of the basis is going to be that there was evidence presented to the jury that he thinks should not have been presented. Can you respond to that?
Well, we believe that the judge made all of the appropriate evidentiary rulings, and we're satisfied that the Court of Appeals will feel the same way.
Mr. Yorkie?
Yes.
You have an incredible team, and you've all been working on this for a very long time. Do you want to share with us some of the hard work that you've mentioned people have done, but individuals have done, but as a team, you seem very cohesive?
Well, what we do as a team is we have a group that is primarily responsible. In this case, it was these three attorneys behind me were primarily responsible for getting this case together. That said, we know when we get a case like this, that there is going to be a lot of evidence that we're going to have to wade through. And because of that, we know that other attorneys and other staff members in the office are going to have to carry some of the weight, some of the load that these guys ordinarily would carry themselves. And I think that we've fostered an attitude in our office where everybody really wants to work as a team. We all take great pride. If you watched in the gallery during the course of this trial, many of my staff members, when they had a moment, they were in there watching this case because they know that they had a hand in it. And I couldn't be more proud of all of them.
Going back to those videos for a minute, they struck me as unusual because normally when you see security camera videos, they're taken in from the perspective of the person who owns the camera is the victim of the crime. In this case, the person who owns the camera was the perpetrator of the crime. Have you ever seen that before, where someone's own security camera video turned out to be incriminating against them?
Well, to be honest with you, just thinking about it right now, this is the first time I've ever thought of that, and honestly, I can't think of an instance where something like that has occurred. But you know, and a lot of that credit goes to law enforcement. These guys did an amazing job. They didn't just, I mean, they were able to get that surveillance camera, but then they got the neighbor's surveillance camera, and that requires some police work. You got to go around and ask about who's got what, and these guys did an excellent job of that. They provide us with the evidence, and we couldn't do it without them. Sheriff Goodenough and his team, they did a fantastic job, and I couldn't be more proud of what they've accomplished and the information and the evidence that they gave us. All right, if that's all you guys have, I want to thank you again for coming in. Thanks. Thank you very much.